All right, what's going on, everyone? So today we're talking about, crap, you know what? I forgot the drone. Let me lay this down right here. I'll be right back. All right, so I got the drone. So in today's video, we're only going over 8 tips. And in this B-roll, we're just using just those tips. Hope you enjoy this video.
I'm thinking about what I need so I can feel. Do you know what I need so I can be okay? It's hidden in the spaces of my mind we used to go. 'Cause it's the same old game I've been playing. I don't believe the words I'm saying. Not sure the pressure is off. I'm not sure when the pressure gives up. Stuck in my head, I'm tired of lying. 'Cause it's a little late.
What's going on, everyone? So I hope you enjoyed that quick little B-roll. All the tips that we're gonna talk about here today in this video, I used in that B-roll. No gimbal, nothing like that. No 3-axis, nothing. Just all the 8 tips that we're gonna talk about in today's video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get started. All right, so tip number 1 is move your body, not your feet. Every single time you walk and you take a step, you create those micro jitters that get a little bit of a bounce in there. So if you're moving your body back and forth, especially if you have a shot that's just staying still, let's say you're taking a B-roll of like a computer or something like that, or even you're doing a wedding like I do sometimes for my bride and my groom, and they're in the sunset and they're not really moving, but I need to move. So what I do is I move my body and I do not move my feet, because every single time you walk, you're gonna create those little kind of micro jitters and it just doesn't look good. Now, you'll look like a total idiot when you do this sometimes. People are like, what's wrong with that guy? But hey, who cares? You're there for the client, you're there for the shot, and you want to get the best shot and the most stable shot, and that's one of the ways that you can do it. Okay, so tip number 2 is use lenses with a stabilizer. Can't stress this enough. So take this image right here for an example. We're zoomed all the way into 700 mils. You can see that the stabilizer is off. We're getting lots and lots of shake in there. But watch what happens when we go ahead and we turn on the stabilizer. As you can see, there's definitely a big difference when you turn on the stabilizer. So comparing these side by side each other and putting them side by side, you can definitely see that one is a lot more shakier and one is a lot more stable. Now just zooming all the way into 200 mils, you can see that the image right here is definitely really shaky. Trying to stay still here, not even moving, not walking, nothing, just shooting a still image. And then if we put on the stabilizer, you can see that there's a huge difference just when you turn on the stabilizer just on the lens. All right, so that last tip brings me to my next tip, which is tip number 3, shoot wide. Every time you shoot wide, you're not gonna get as much as a shake as you would if you were to shoot into 100 mils or 200 mils. You're basically gonna get a lot of shake, and it's gonna be pretty much impossible to shoot with 100 mils while walking. So if you're gonna do any shots where you're moving or you're walking, you wanna shoot in a wide angle shot because you won't notice as much micro jitters. Now keep in mind, you might wanna shoot 100 mils if you're shooting an action kind of packed movie where you wanna get really close into the detail and into the shots. You wanna get really close up personal. So you might want to do that for those kinds of videos. But if you're doing anything where you're walking and you want to get the whole scenery, that kind of thing, you're going to want to shoot at a wide angle. Now this next tip is pretty simple. Tip number 4 is shoot in slow motion, like 120 frames, 240 frames, whatever your camera does. I typically like to shoot 120 frames at 4K. That's kind of what I like to do. And if you look at the image here, you can see that it's a lot more slower and smoother because we're shooting at a high frame rate. Okay, so tip number 5 is lock your hands. Now, I don't like to lock my hands in kind of what they call like the 3-axis, where they lock it into the holding of the camera, they lock their elbows, and then they bring it close to their chest. I especially do not like to bring it close to my chest, because when it's really close to my chest, as I'm walking, you get all those little micro jitters where it's kind of bounce, and I don't like doing that. I keep my hands out a little further, so that way while I'm walking, it kind of acts like a gimbal, where as you're walking, you will not see those really hard bounces with your camera. Okay, so tip number 6 is slide your camera, don't walk with your camera. We're pretty much getting away all the way from walking with your camera as much as possible. So let's say you're shooting for, I don't know, like a kitchen, and there's a big countertop where you can slide your camera with the towel. You definitely want to do that rather than walking around it and seeing all the micro jitters. You definitely want to slide your camera. So that's tip number 6. Now this next tip number 7, I actually seen from another YouTuber channel, and I kind of done it before myself, but I never really talked about or made a video, and he's the first one that made the video, so I want to give credit to him. I think his name is Dean Tucker, and that is use your camera strap to stabilize your lens and stabilize the camera. You can get really, really low shots with this. Now, it obviously doesn't look as good as like a gimbal or something like that, but if you can't afford a gimbal, use your camera strap to stabilize your lens and stabilize your camera. Works really, really good. And if you're needing to move back and forth, you can use your camera strap to basically pan back and forth, and you'll get really nice, smooth, stable shots if you use your camera strap. I use my camera strap pretty much all the time whenever I'm shooting for weddings, because as I'm not going to use my gimbal all the time, all day long, because I need to save that battery, I will definitely use my camera strap to take the little fine details of like pictures and rings and things like that, and I'll just pan back and forth with my camera with the strap, and that way it looks really, really stable and nobody really can tell because it's just that stable and that smooth. So that's tip number 7. All right, so tip number 8 is use things with wheels. Now, I personally like rollerblading. I'm not really much of a skateboarder, so I wouldn't use skateboard. I would definitely fall down on that thing. No chance. So I would use rollerblades. Take this shot right here for an example. I'm on my rollerblades. You can see how smooth it is, a lot smoother than if I were to just walk and run. And then take this shot here for an example. This is me without the rollerblades on, just running, and you can definitely see a huge difference in between those two shots. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help me grow this channel so that way I can make more awesome videos for you, and we can just keep banging this out of the park, making really awesome tutorials, color grades, you name it, and let's do it. Give it a like if you're into that kind of thing. Smash the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Help me out. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.